gotta start off this thing right, all right? So he's gonna start off. Let me start off. Let me start off with this. All right. Before I make the introduction, I'll let this song build it up. You dig?
I'm digging. I'm digging.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I heard they came to the studio and they put them a pop, man. Them ready show mixtape, yeah, my nigga.
Cheers, my nigga.
Fire in the booth, so akiwala. My boy kwenye nyumba jo akiwala. Na take police yo mesoma kwa reda jo akiwala. Ni wale jo watu songi jo akiwala. Fire kwenye booth mwana pili jo akiwala. Kijana langata sasa amechoma jo akiwala. Na take mumona kina kevoski jo akiwala. Studio leo kuko na moto jo akiwala.
Hey. All right, I'm gonna chop it off from right there. Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, it's that time again. It is Lessons Learned ATW. And it's this week we have, this week, we have another special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, we have comedian, singer-songwriter, recording artist extraordinaire, actor. Oh gosh, this man's resume is big. I wouldn't want to even go through the list. He has done a lot. We got the man himself, General Mutombo, aka Dubai Mamba,
Vibes
in the building.
We're here, man.
Wagwan, dudes. Wagwan,
man. Cheers to you, man. Cheers for having me over.
Cheers.
All these years of friendship and business and growth and family vibes. Thank you for bringing me on, fam.
Facts. First things first, here at Lessons Learned ATW, we ask our guests to give the listenership, the viewership, a quick introduction of who they are and where they started.
All right, so my name is Dennis. Mom gave me that name, so I gave myself Dubai because I gotta recognize something.
Your mama calls you Dennis. I'll call you Dennis. Is that coming to America? If their mama called him Cassius Clay,
I know, right? She called me Dennis. I'm like, what does Dennis even mean? She said, well, it was a good English name that a lot of people were doing, like Brian and Kevin. I'm from Kenya. I was born in Nairobi. It's the capital city of Kenya. I was born in Langata. Two parents, two athletic parents. My dad played rugby and my mom played volleyball. I came to America in 2018 to pursue further studies.
2018? That was like 2 years ago.
2008. Oh!
Yeah, there we go.
The math came quickly.
I was like, I've known you longer than that.
So I came to America in 2008 to pursue a career in medical field. I wanted to be a dentist.
Oh, wow.
But of course, the cards that are handed to you, sometimes they're not all the cards you want to make the play you want. The only chess moves you're allowed to make depends on the nature of your competitor. So I had to shift. To music and arts. And I started practicing how to make beats in Kansas at that time. Developed my career from music to music producing to photography to fashion. You'll just pace me around so I can take you slow. I don't want to do
no,
this.
Keep going. And we are celebrating Dubai Mamba. We are celebrating General Mutombo. Take us through that story. That's what we're here for.
Let me take you slowly, man. I don't want to do it. You said it's a chill vibe, right? So let me take you though. So I was born in Nairobi, and in Nairobi, a huge population really lives below like poverty means, like by American standards. They call it middle class there, but they're really struggling. A lot of people there are really struggling. Hold on 1 second. Let me take this off. Sorry about that. Yeah.
No problem.
A lot of people
we accommodate the guest.
Yeah, a lot of people are struggling growing up, and a lot of our dreams are suppressed because of our parents' limitations at that time. And so anything you're trying to do outside the norm was considered like you're a rebel. And it started with me in boarding school because I used to freestyle in the dorms. I used to freestyle in the assembly after the headmaster leaves. When people are singing in the CRU, I used to go there and rap. and they'll kick me out. And I kept pushing for it. There was a magazine in Kenya called The Insider. It was a teenage high school magazine. And I became their biggest distributor in Eastern Nairobi. So these guys gave me a chance to, you know what I'm saying, to write articles.
You became a columnist or something like that, or like, yeah, nice.
Yes, more like a commentary. They'll send me something, I'll think about it and go back to it. And I started developing my love for the stage in high school because I started seeing plays. People would come perform set books. And I started feeling like these people are expressing themselves the way I want to express myself without judgment on stage.
Right.
So I got a friend of mine. His name was Peter Cower. Shout out to him. He brought me to the theater just to test out. I was supposed to just do a read through. Bro, I came in. They gave me the parts. I didn't even come in the middle. They gave me the part. They were like, you come. Remember, I'm in high school. So if you're getting a part on a Kenyan stage, it means you have to skip a lot of school, skip a lot of, in Africa, you're like, have to go home, wash dishes, help the house. So I had to skip a lot of that, which brought a lot of negative energy to my family because they didn't understand what I was doing with art. But I fell in love with theater when I was 17. I love theater to this day. I love writing scripts. I love editing scripts. I love mentoring people who are acting. The raw acting, that Othello, that Merchant of Venice. We were acting like the Greek gods that came to Africa. There were a lot of scripts that we're trying to mash, both the neo generation, the old generation, and the new generation, so our stories can be digested.
Got you.
So after high school, I thought I was going to be a big actor because all my friends were acting the same place. All of them are now like all media personalities in Kenya. Those are the ones they bump heads with my brother Step Capella back there.
Right.
My mother
shout out to Capella.
Shout out to Capella, man, my brother. Now, I came to America. My parents, every other, all African parents, if it's not by the government, if it's not a paycheck, what are you doing with your life? You need to be a doctor. You have to have a uniform of some sort. Either it's a suit uniform or a white uniform. Whatever uniform you have, but it has to be a uniform. That means
they know that's a consistent check.
Yes. And I loved it at that time because it was security. But then the world started evolving more. And there are more diverse ways of earning income that did not require you to work hard, instead work smart. For example, when I came to America, when I started doing music in Wichita State, shout out to Mixdown Studios, shout out to Jay Breeze, shout out to everybody who supported my dream in Wichita. It was really hard because as an African going to a studio and you're recording, people are like, what are you doing? You should be here. You should be going to school. I'm like, I'm still going to school, but no, stop singing. That is not what we do when we come here. There was a box that put us. In Wichita, Kansas being like a, I don't like calling it small town. I call it growing town. It's a developing town.
Right.
And at that time, a lot of people are not doing music, Strap. It was a really struggle. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was me, Stanboy, the African child.
Right.
Capella came in later. Shout out to Capella. Shout out to Lucia came in later.
Shout out to Lucia.
Yeah, shout out to Fabrice. Fabrice came in.
Yeah, and now he was on the episode.
Thierry was singing. Thierry was dropping bars, bro.
Really?
Yeah. There was another brother of ours also who used to rap RIP to his soul. We lost him through a gang, like somebody broke into his house back in the day, rest his soul. I can't get into too much details about that. But we were we were like a little conglomerate of Africans who were pursuing art in Wichita at that time. And then I met you years later, right? I met you years later because you were in.
I met you.
Emporia.
I would say 2000. I met Capella in 2013.
Yeah.
I met you around 2015, I think, when Capella left.
And this time, it was hard,
4 years ago.
Bro, it was hard. It was hard to find a studio because a lot of engineers have not invested in good mics. They just had any mic. I remember there's a guy called Angelo Gilbaldi. Shout out to him, Lyrical Miracle. He's one of the guys who really brought me to his room. He used to record me in his room, give me a mic there. And then I started practicing, watching how his engineering making beats. And I started training myself. Sometimes it's good when your own footprint, your own handprint was on the work. So I started training myself and we got hits at that time. We got 3-4 major hits on Kenyan national charts from those closets.
Wow.
No
That's
sponsorship.
major.
No nothing. They were putting us right. They played my song on a presidential campaign for 6 months straight.
Wow.
It was called Ugari. It was about eating fufu. It was about eating fufu. And I met Lucia. Lucia was amazing. Lucia, man, she helped me craft my sound.
Right.
We argued quite a bit. You know, when you have a strong artist, lady artist with strong views and a vision, it was really hard at first to work together, but we came together. We matched in a way that
collaborating, yeah.
Yes, that our energies synchronized, the masculine and the feminine. And then Capella came in, and then Capella brought this other side of sound from Kenya, which was dope.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
Yeah.
And we all worked together collaboratively and changed the sound of East Africa in the Midwest. We had our own signature. Nobody could beat us the way we shot videos, everything was just our own. So I wish we had more resources.
Right.
I really sincerely wish we did, because we didn't get the support we wanted. We really struggled to like sell who we were.
Right.
At that time. And
then fast forwarding, you've done the music, you were a thespian, you did the theater. And later on into your career, you developed, or you got bitten by the bug of comedy. Before you even talk about how you started in comedy, you have to attest, you still had your comedian prowess or your comedian charm to you even before you knew that you were a comedian. Sometimes I think, like, say, artists are born and then the talent is developed, right?
Boom.
So would that also apply in comedy? As a comedian's born, and you're going to tell us about how you became a comedian, how you stumbled into comedy, but you've always had that funny element to how you deliver things, even on your day-to-day, and how you handle yourself.
Vibes, man.
So let's share with the audience or the viewership that side of you and how you developed that, and and how it all ties into who you are and how you're living right now.
So as a comedian, I would want people to understand there are two faces to comedy, right? Cheers, man. Cheers, man. Cheers, man. Cheers. There are two faces to comedy. The first element is a funny person. He's just funny. He says funny stuff. Funny stuff that's already funny, like your mama jokes.
Right.
There's that comedian. And there's a comedian who makes unfunny things funny. It's a dark comedians. The difference between these two, this is a happy dude. There's no experience based on his craft. The problem is the longevity of his craft is uncertain because he goes with the flow. He does not morph. He's just a funny guy. He just makes jokes. Like pandemic right now, you're going to make people happy with just your regular jokes. But this guy, this side of comedy, the dark side of comedy, comes from experience. And I had gone through a really major shift in my life around 2013. I was battling some domestic imbalance in my family at that time in court. And it really shook my whole core, my whole value. And the only thing that sustained me around that time, I think that even that's around the time we met, was comedy. I would sit and think, what's the funniest way to deal with my broken car? I'll take a snap and send it to Strap. Strap, look at this one. Look at this one. Instead of being mad. When you lose stuff, when I used to lose jobs, I think I used to pull up even your house, but let me tell you, let me bring a break.
Pull up with a tequila bottle.
So, what happened today? And it started becoming that. And I developed a way to tell stories, very ugly stories, in a funny way so people could digest. So my message was being passed. So I started mastering my emotions, my dark emotions, by using laughter. And that is where I developed, I practiced so much how to deliver what's in my heart from a dark place in a funny way so that you can empathize with it.
That's something to say about comedies. And it's really true that the tears and smiles of a clown. I mean, like, comedy does, or comedians stem that laughter, or like derive that laughter from a very dark place or from pain. I mean, you hear comedy titles of specials, Laugh at My Pain.
Yes.
You know, like, it's a real thing. And I really do think comedians are some of the darkest people. Some of the people that need therapy the most, even though they make all you guys laugh. That's maybe their therapy is getting on a stage.
That is actually their therapy. Because then when you laugh, it makes
speaking it out.
Yes. Yeah. The one thing about comedy people don't understand is comedians have, I feel like the term comedian should evolve in the future. You go to a therapist, you listen to him, you don't laugh, but he helps you get heard. So comedians are the voice of the people. Some of the jokes we write, they come from you. They come from talking to you.
Yeah.
So I play to your stories. I'm like, have you ever been married, sir? Have you ever been married? Has your wife ever just start watching this shows about killing husbands and you're like, okay, then I gotta learn how to mix poison because we have to go, both of us. So
right.
That is something people are like, okay, all right. So I think comedians do more in the community than they're given credit for.
Right.
Comedy,
essential workers.
They're very, it really killed me.
Essential. Like we need laughter, especially during these times.
And I sat there and I actually debated with the police commissioner of Seattle one time. We were on a Zoom meeting with a couple of people here. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm based in Seattle, Washington.
Yeah.
We had a talk, and I told her, why did we not have a lot more comedians online during that pandemic? That when people are very sad, to make more jokes, to take people off things. If you wake up and you listen to Martin Lawrence fight with Gina in the morning before you go to work, and Gina's like, "You, Martin, shut up!" It makes you feel like, "Oh my God, this is funny." Instead of watching devastations continuously. Also, comedy is good because it helps us communicate. There are things, especially for me and you are coming from Africa, where we have a lot of people have not exfoliated with their emotions and their thoughts and their fears and their trauma and all these things that are not spoken of. Like, for example, I do dark comedy that talks about every stereotype that nobody was taught to talk about in Africa, the taboo talks. Like incest in the Bible, like incest in the African tradition, like child pornography, like what you call like modern day slavery in Africa. Where you think.
By the way, people that are listening, let the professionals talk about this because some of the topics that he's talking about could land you in trouble if you don't know.
Please.
If you don't have a tactic, because you can talk about anything, but you need a tactic.
There's a method.
That's why comedians are amazing at what they do. These taboo topics may not be for you to speak.
Do not try.
Especially in a time where people, including myself, everyone has a microphone to their face and they feel like I just have to let it out.
Yes, you gotta be very careful.
Yeah, don't do it
because you're making yourself immortal. You're immortalizing yourself on the microphone. So whatever you say can be used against you even 20 years from now.
Absolutely.
You see what's happening to Biden and all the politics that are happening right now.
Right.
So if you're gonna come as a comedian, first you gotta do your research about things you're about to talk about. You gotta have your facts and the people you spoke to.
Right.
2, you better have experience with delivery of what you say. It's not what you say, how you say it.
Yeah.
You gotta know your audience. There's some things I say that I'll never say in Kansas ever.
Right. Because it's more progressive out there.
It's safety here. Over there, cops might be outside. Also, you gotta know which audience you're going for. Sometimes we get caught up in trying to impress everybody. You're not everybody's fun. As an artist, as a comedian, as a music engineer, you have to carve your niche and then get this crowd of people. You'll never see Michael Blackson opening up or doing a show with Kevin Hart. They're both comedians, but you'll never see them because their niche is different. Somebody likes Nyash on Instagram all the time, and somebody here just talks about family and love and my wife and kids. So you got to know what you're trying to represent with your content.
Right. So you talked about this briefly. You talked about the pandemic, knowing that Washington, Seattle, was ground zero for the COVID-19 when it hit the United States.
Yeah.
And you are in the field of service as a comedian where you need a crowd, you need an audience. How much of an effect, whether it's financial, whether it's mental, for your mental health, whether it's for those two, let's talk about financial and mental. How has that affected, not you in particular, but you could use just comedy and entertainers?
Yeah.
How much of effect has it been?
So number one, a lot of comedians, we're classified under gig artists, gig economy.
Mm-hmm.
We are gigs. We paid by gigs.
Gigs, yeah.
Now when gigs depend on demand, on audience, and pandemic really like butchered that. We just had our umbilical cord cut off, but in a really deep way. So we were really bleeding. We thought this was going to last for a short time, but when the restaurants are being affected, the bars are starting to get closed.
Yeah, all the service businesses, yeah.
Now, there were a lot of comedians. There were comedians who actually committed suicide this year, RIP to their souls. They couldn't take it. They didn't know how their future is going to be.
Right.
But because your all income is stopping.
Yeah, I could totally understand that.
I was supposed to be on a tour in America, between June, July, August. I was in a couple of commercials. They were actually flying me out to Miami to do a commercial for this billboard, for this energy drink I can't talk about right now. But they had to stop everything. So now you're broke and now you're in the house.
Right.
Now this is where it affects people. This is where people forget sometimes. Artists are also people. They are also human.
Yeah. You got bills. You got stuff to take care of.
The way you're scared about the pandemic is the way I'm scared about the pandemic. So if you can't feel funny, I can't feel funny.
Right.
Because pandemic is not something you can even write because it's different. A lot of artists came together and they started going virtual. They started doing shows online. So I partnered with a couple of people, One Vibe NGO of Africa. I partnered with Global Citizen Foundation in South Africa. We did some shows. I gotta say, I was really proud. I shared the stage with Davido, with Falls from Tiwa Savage, Casper Nyovest from South Africa, Uganda. There was a guy from Uganda. Hey, that guy was funny. He's a comedian called Mpamire. Mpamire, very good friend of mine. So it opened us up to try different other avenues of getting streams of income.
Right.
I was really frustrated, bro. I lost so much income because I couldn't move.
Right. And I know you guys, that's your bread and butter is gigs. I mean, I empathize and I empathize and understand the situation. But you also have to look on the other side of the card where we have people such as yourself, artists or entertainers such as Tory Lanez that have used this downtime to diversify their streams of revenue and using this thing called the internet to their advantage. Tory Lanez, unfortunately, is going through something right now, but he had the COVID radio.
Oh, that radio was fire. Oh, that was genius. That was genius.
Talk about comedians like Andrew Schultz that has used the internet to his advantage. Talking about Dubai Mamba or General Mutombo's podcast. This idea of thinking brick and mortar is going to be around for a long time is a reason why some people can be very stressed out, and it's not good for the mental health. But for the early adopter and the person who comes from where you've come from, it's always about something brand new. And you've done it so many times. You were once having aspirations of being a dentist, you switched. Music, switched. And for you, this is just like routine, like on to the next. It doesn't bother you, but I can see someone that is, you hear comedians brag, I've been 30 years in the business. These new comedians they're not as funny. You need these years, but those are the people who are stressed out because the old way of thinking.
They have not morphed.
Yeah.
The consumers' purchase habits have changed.
Absolutely.
How people consume things. The music you listen to now is not the same music. Like maybe it's the same, but the way you digest music now, especially after the pandemic, is different.
Yeah.
I learned the art of the chameleonaire. Chameleonaire, like the rapper who just made one, two songs and he's like, I'm done.
He had other songs with Swisher House, but the big songs, of course, the writing.
You have to serve at a certain end. You're a chef, yes. You're cooking food for people, yes. Then the people now love the food, but now they want more. They want an event center. So now you don't only become a chef, you become an event planner.
Right.
And as an event planner, they want you to be able to play music at the event planner. So you have to get the DJ. You taught me that when I was in Wichita. Strap, you started with hiring people towards your brand.
Right.
Okay, are you there?
I'm still here. Still here.
So you used to hire people towards your brand, to support your brand, to record your videos, to audit. And then there's a certain way you wanted things. And the way you wanted those things, there's only you could understand it. So you created your own studio, right, Strap?
Right.
So I felt like sometimes there's a part of me that the people I collaborate with do not understand. So I have to morph into that. That way I can execute the vision the way I want to. Right. America is a land of comebacks. I don't believe in strikeouts. Yeah. It doesn't matter. You get a job, you go get another one. I don't believe in strikeouts. I believe you keep knocking until the right door opens. Right. Especially when you're born with strikes, not strikes that you're a bad person, strikes that make you less you're less. The cards handed to you do not give you equal advantage.
Yeah, the cards you were dealt. That's a very good way to look at things. But I also have to understand that you're cut from a cloth of where you have faced so many adversities to even just step on the land that you're on. So your level of adjusting and appreciation and your level of gratitude may be different than some people that feel the entitlement of success, the entitlement of I'm entitled to receive, I'm entitled to be, I'm entitled to even exist. It may not play in your head, but trust and believe there are entertainers out there that, which is not a bad thing, it's just their early conditioning and what they've been through in life. They were dealt the cards that leave them entitled. Let's talk about transitioning.
Yes.
How does comedy translate in a Zoom setting? You need an audience. You need to hear those laughs. You need to see the faces. You need to see the haters.
Yes.
You need to see all that. How does that translate? In those type of settings, man.
Let me go back to your earlier question. Let me finish that earlier question though.
Right.
Just one real quick tap on it, then I come this way. So the OGs of the game, I love them. I'll respect each and every one of them from Martin Lawrence.
With my light over here.
You're good. From Martin Lawrence, from Jamie Foxx, I gotta give all the big shout outs to the guys who started this comedy thing. Richard Pryor.
Right.
Love him. The one thing I've learned though is technology is moving fast. You can be a blockbuster in the age of Hulu. Okay?
Absolutely.
You have to keep progressing. You have to find consuming habits change every day. You gotta change your ways. You gotta change your style. You gotta change how you deliver. And Zoom is one of the places that right now we're feeling like, hey, I can come to your living room.
Yeah.
You don't even have to leave. People like you.
I've been benefiting off things like Zoom, yeah. So
yeah, you like being inside. No matter how many times, I can even have a massive show in Kansas, but because of obligations that a lot of people have, or friends, we used to go to Chicago with the boys, me, Ray, Edu, shout out to the people, what's that Jamaican friend of mine? What's his name?
Devo.
That guy. Hey, tall guy. I just see all these groups of people. I think I missed one person. My neighbor. What's my neighbor's name?
Dre.
Shout out to Dre, man. Shout out to Dre. And I'm looking at all these people like, I want you guys to be able to enjoy my craft.
Right.
Living in different states because you're not neighbors. You have to evolve. That's when I started podcasting because my voice would go. And then I can meet people by sending them a link. We did an interview today. We didn't even, I started with the IG live, then I morphed to rap. And now Zoom. People pay for shows on Zoom. They just send money to you. They link up your cash out. It's like a regular concert, but you enjoy the comfort of your home with your baby, with your wife.
There you go.
Your mom. You can maybe even be working, but you're enjoying it. So it's a new wave, and I think in the future there'll be more of this. That's where we're going more virtual now. Yes. And as a comedian, you have to start employing. You remember how TikTok came and just boom.
Mm-hmm. TikTok. I've not yet got into TikTok because I feel like I'm too old for it. But it's just not. I know it's a good platform.
Don't do it. Don't dance, but just watch, observe.
I know it's a big thing for the kids. The kids love it. So let's talk about I know we already talked about your early days and how you got started. Who are the people that influenced you the most to become who you are?
Quite frankly, I really admire. I really admire Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart, okay.
I really admire basketball.
Nigeria.
Yes.
Yes.
I really admire Trevor, South Africa.
Trevor Noah.
I really admire Russell. Is it Russell?
Russell Peters.
Russell Peters. Yes, Russell Peters.
Toronto.
Yes, Toronto. I really admire Seth.
Seth Rogen? No, wait. Joe Rogan?
No. Seth Rogen, yes.
Seth Rogen. No, Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan.
Oh, my bad.
Seth is an actor. I think he's a comedic actor. He's not a comedian. He's not a stand-up. Joe Rogan, he's everything. He does MMA, he does stand-up, he does podcasting. Yeah, that's Joe. And I won't lie, Joe is one of my podcast influences. I listen to a lot of the Joe Rogan experience. It's amazing.
I love one more person. I gotta give you one more person.
Give me.
This our best guy. His name is. This guy, his name is Eric Wanaina from Kenya. He's an activist. Guy who grew, changed the way he thought. Ian Mugua, my former director. These are people who made me uncomfortable. I love people who make me uncomfortable because he makes me adjust.
Growth happens.
When you make me uncomfortable, you make me think. And when I think, I grow. When I grow, I have ideas and ideas to morph into somebody better. I don't like comfortable spaces. That's why I change so much. Because I feel like when I'm too comfortable, I'll always think this is the best I could be. I saw Kevin Hart following his journey from when he was just a guy who was doing open mics, sleeping in people's cars. You know, it's this little bitty. He was here in Seattle. He did a show and we were in an after party. It was this little guy. But the energy, the aura, the energy that he comes with is, you know who I am. I am funny. At first, I didn't even understand he's funny because there are different types of funny. And these guys really test the waters, man. Kevin Hart is a stadium full of English people in London and talking about, when your mother calls you a bitch. And I'm like, bro, you're not even in home. They do the same shows in Cairo, Egypt, the same show in Turkey, the same show in Dubai. The conservatives are listening to him saying, fuck them bitches. And I'm like, what?
Wow.
They didn't arrest you? And Rogan on the podcast, he talks deep stuff. He cuts it with comedy. He's like, let's not bullshit me. Like he talks to his guests with the whole, yeah, when you came here, we're not doing this for show.
Right.
And I feel like their influence in my comedy is more, I want to be raw. I call my podcast Uncut. I want to be the guy who does not, I want to be,
I want to push like the envelope.
Yes. And this came from my personal experience 2 years ago where I decided I only want to keep pure things around. I want to keep pure friends. I want to know your family. I want to know your kids. When I talk about comedy, I want to be like, let's address this, okay? Because now I'm a father.
Right.
And if I'm going to be a perfect father, I cannot be doing this to my daughter when it comes to passing down knowledge. Otherwise, she'll discredit me and not respect me.
I mean, children always will have that argument with their parents about what did they pass down. We all did. We all questioned what our parents taught us. But yeah, you're absolutely right. That growth that has happened throughout the years, and it's very visible. I can see it from you to the clothing, from you starting from the music. That was my inception of understanding your creative existence was music. And then you transition from music to the first fashion industry that you're very passionate about. And then you got the comedy bug. And then I saw your grind. I saw you coming from open mics here in Wichita, Kansas, to sending us small little clips of pieces that you're putting together. And now to see you when you made that move to the West Coast, Seattle, to be precise, to seeing how much growth has happened in the period of 2 to 3 years is amazing, and it's a testament to the character and the grit that you have, which I have to salute you with this drink, saying, man, we appreciate you, we celebrate you, my brother.
I appreciate you, my brother. I appreciate you, fam.
All right.
I want to ask you something.
Sure.
Strap. Now, when you started music,
right,
what were you trying to do with your sound?
To be honest, like I said, artists are born, but the talent is developed.
Hello.
So I was an artist through and through. I paint. I went to college to do BFA, which is so ridiculous for an African parent. Like, I pay all this money for you to go learn how to paint.
Yeah, no.
Like, I could buy you that stuff at home. Here I have a bachelor's in fine art.
Money.
So my bachelor's degree is in fine art. And to some people that looks crazy. You could have done it anywhere, not having to spike your parents' pockets or poke your parents' pockets and come to the United States for you to get a degree looked at. Like, the most you can get from that degree is maybe $20,000 a year. I don't know, just something that is not. But to me, I'm an artist.
That's where
yeah, my true superpower is in expression.
Yes,
expression through my transition of time. Yeah. And how I feel at that moment, I will not feel like that 10 years from now. So
okay, yes,
everything is time-stamped with my creation.
Correct.
So when I transitioned into a different type of expression, moving away from the canvas and the paintbrush, or from the when I was doing sculpting, or when I was doing engraving, or when I was doing all these different things, welding, I transitioned into music. I landed on music by accident, and I found that as another media to show my talents. So it started at home. I used to make music. We used to get in trouble for finding church cassette tapes and dabbing over them, hitting record, and then started write freestyles. Yep, we recorded freestyles over them. Shout out to PG. It was a podcast. We talked about that, to me getting into my first studio session, to coming here in 2008, and my cousin putting me in a studio to just use a generic Ugandan accent to a hook, because he wanted to make it sound like, back then everybody had like a foreign hook, because that time there was, we getting Arab money, so they wanted me to kind of fake a Jamaican accent or something, so they can on it, because they come from that era where they were listening to Shine, they were listening to swing. So they just wanted me to
let's sing.
I'm broader than
Broadway.
So they were listening to that, so they wanted me to jump on a hook and be like, yo, you have a foreign accent, just make some cool stuff, make it sound like it's different, because everybody was doing it at that time.
Yes.
Then I did it. I was not proud of it, because really
that was not you.
Yeah, it was not me, and it was directed. Somebody say it like this, say it like that, like how this guy did it on this song. And then I was like, you know what, let me try. And then I started rapping, and then they stopped hitting me up, because they realized, hey, he can really rap. Then everything just ended up tumbling over to the artist that I discovered in music, whose sound that rose African pride, and the rest is history. But yeah, I hope I answered your question. You
did. One thing I asked you that question for was, you asked me a question earlier today about my art and how I've grown and kept changing. My real conviction came when I made my first hit, and somebody told me, okay, you're making party songs, because you can see when you Google me on YouTube, a lot of my music were girls and
high tempo
rough riders and all these guys. But somebody put me a conviction on me, like, what's your purpose? What are you doing? Are you trying to get laid? What are you doing with your art? And that's when I realized the way my country was being represented was very mono, very, very, very myopic.
Yes.
We are very different characters and different behaviors and different subgenres of people within the Kenyan culture. And I wanted
Kenyans
to
are not a monolith. They have so many different.
Exactly.
They're not
I don't
a
want to be
monolith.
like, oh, Kenyans do this. Okay, I'm like, no. I am representing people who do this. Music was me changing the sound of what I thought people had heard a lot. So I used to make my own thing and create my own thing. When I came with fashion, it was because of the conviction of how many people back in Wichita who are talking a lot of smack about, oh, you Africans, why y'all do this? I'm like, you want to know we have taste too? You want to know we have style? Because this is part of us. We came with the dashiki.
So you have to, well, let's focus on, like, I mean, I'll keep that idea that you were saying, where you're going. So you said that was there that feeling where you felt like people here in the city of Wichita were questioning questioning the African way of expression through garment? Did you feel like that? Or was it done to you in your face, or you felt the energy was like
everywhere? There was a club called Christian Knights. It was there on 21st and Woodlawn.
How long ago is this?
This is 2008, 2009, 2010. I came in the scene from the moment I stepped in here. I knew some people. And it was hard. African clubs were being targeted so bad by the Midwest cops at that time. Mm-hmm. Starting a business, starting a tailor shop or a restaurant, it was such a struggle to even get a license at that time. And I felt like there's a certain box that the society, my society at that time, my community at that time wanted us to be in, so that you can fit. And I was not. I was this really rowdy gorilla in the zoo. They had to put me down. You feel me? I had to leave. And when I started partnering with, I told you that time I partnered with Banana Republic.
Right.
And they saw the vision of the pocket squares I wanted to do with them. The time I started forming the Dapper ICT. Mm-hmm. It was more like, oh guys, this is us. You guys know. Remember how we used to push to come to outside? I'm like, guys, today we're wearing jackets. Remember how the respect we used to feel when we come outside? Mm-hmm. It was all because I grew up with suits and ties as a sign of respect, as a sign of class, as a sign of a man who's out there going to get it. Mm-hmm. In Africa. So when I came to America, it was less because different people are doing different jobs. But what I wanted to do, Strap, was still show that history. Of who we used to be. We used to tie a tie when you were 8 years old, right? Mm-hmm. What changed? Why can't you wear the same tie to a radio interview? To me, I started being like, there's some things that we were taught by our parents. Why are we shedding them off? And they're part of our core. When I moved from fashion, remember I did a little stint where I had a little food truck when I was trying to deliver food. Remember the delivering food? Yeah. Rogers? Same thing. We didn't have good African food in Wichita at that time. Mm-hmm. We couldn't buy African food. There was only like one restaurant, I don't know where, and it was not cooking the best food. I knew, you've eaten my food. You don't have passion for cooking.
Yeah, you have culinary skills too. Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, I learned this thing. In Dubai, I learned some things I could use and help my people by using some of those skills to make fused menus, fused African, Jamaican, American, create my own signature of food. I tested this by always cooking when my friends are over. I'd invite people just to eat so that I can so that's what you like. Because my idea at that time, my dream was to have the first big African restaurant in Kansas at that time. But then again, resources were missing. You know, sometimes you may have the idea, but if there's not there, that's where comedy came in. Now, back to the question you just asked.
Oh, the question, do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. The question you were asking about comedy, right? Mm-hmm. Go back to it. Remind me a little bit.
So the question was, before you went, you had a thought of how we talked about, first of all, this whole dialogue was based off fashion. When I asked you your how you started and how you engaged in fashion. But when I stopped you to just enlighten me more, because I've never experienced that, was how you felt the city of, or some people in Wichita slighted your ability to dress and be presentable in a way that they can respect you, and you are pushing that envelope of nah, I'm just not gonna wear casual. I'm going to express myself the way I was raised, and I was raised looking damper. I was raised having a very well polished shoe. I was raised to have a handkerchief. I was raised to have a blazer and a well pressed button up shirt inside. I was raised to have a belt. You just don't let your stuff fall down. I was raised to have very expressive pair of socks that have detail and show gentleman presence when you walk into a room. That's your answer to that question, and you did a good job answering that. I would say though, this whole culture of dressing has to come from, first of all, and two things I'm going to say. First of all is necessity. The second thing is expression. Necessity meaning we want to cover our bodies.
Yeah, nobody wants to walk with hairy nipples off the street.
We want to cover for the decency of everyone, right? You know? And also, in the covering your body, you want to protect yourself. You want to keep yourself warm in the cold weather, in the hot weather, if you want to wear less. It's all based on, it's weather specific. The second thing is expression. Your clothes, whether you're Maasai, can talk about your history.
Yes.
Clothes can talk about where you're from. If it's colors, if you're a street guy, the way you wear your hat in Chicago can say, you're from this gang, that gang. If you wear blue, if you wear red, if you wear black, if you're a GD, if you're blood, Crip, all that is expression.
Yes.
One thing I would say is this. We as people from the continent of Africa, if we were truly being honest to how we should express ourselves, we'll be wearing traditional garment. Traditional garment, not saying batik, tie and dye, kitenge, kente cloth, or that's regional specific material. It could be West African, it could be East African, it could be. The thing is this. One thing I had to also enlighten myself is imperial indoctrination into our culture.
Very fun. The sprinkle of colonialism.
Yeah. So, we come from countries that experienced their liberation in the 60s. Yes. Some experienced their liberations in the 90s, like South Africa.
Yes.
Liberation, I don't know at what cost. Liberation also, I don't know how liberal or how liberated they are, because I know of neocolonialism still happens. But I'm saying when it comes to the dress culture, the imperial people or the colonizers going to these African countries and tell you, man, why are you wearing black cloth? Why you have a suit, And I can understand, when Burna Boy said something real when he's promoting his new album. Shout out to Burna Boy with the new.
Shout out to Burna Boy, yeah. Twice a store.
He said something that he struggled with school, because for him in his spirit, there's something that always told him this history is wrong, because he never learned any history about Nigeria and his own personal history of his own tribe. He knows everything about European history.
But not his.
And he said he was being graded on how much he knew about European history. And that's why he had this bad relationship with school. Eventually, I think his spirit, he said, kind of made him rebellious, and that's why he dropped out of school. That is very, very pivotal, and it's very enlightening, because I can attest to this. We go into schools, they have us dressed up, because I went to a Catholic school, let's say, high school.
Right, same here.
Maybe they were started, I forgot the name of the Catholic group that came and started the school. It's one of the oldest schools in East Africa. Give me a second here. So, having this indoctrinations into our culture, where they have you wearing a suit and tie, which I call, some people call that the monkey outfit, but I don't know. That's just there. All these indoctrinations of European imperialistic ideas into our culture, and it's deep. We always grow up laughing. Even I, for one, we have something called a kanzu, which you wear on weddings.
Yeah, you wear all the way.
For one, I would feel embarrassed wearing that around my friends wearing. At that time, there were the shiny jeans. I'm like, man, I can't wear that traditional stuff. It's only for ceremonies. But I was wrong. As I got older, now I look at all the stuff that, I could see on GQ. I'm like, you know what? That's European. That's good. It's cool. It's cool. It's from Italy. It's an Italian shoe. It's $300,000. I mean, you hear about Giuseppe, whatever, Bells, Valentino Rossi, and all these names. Now you start thinking, man, what's that? Does it carry the primary need, which is covering and protecting? Good. Shoes are to protect, first of all. You don't want to step on pokey things. You don't want to get burnt by asphalt, or you don't want to get burnt by dust. Cool. But these indoctrinations have evolved into different things. Now we live in a world, 2020, where the capitalist driver is driving the bus. When I say the capitalist driver, everyone is encouraged to spend. And textile and fashion is one of the biggest retail, stimulus to spending. Now, where I'm going with this idea, you know me, I talk these deep
vibes, man, vibes. I'm picking up.
Where I'm going with this idea and fashion is, fashion has evolved from not only expression, not only protection, now that's past that. It's stealing identity. Because you lack self-esteem, and because when you think you wear this, you become a superhero. You move from Clark Kent to Superman. See, now an African accent, but yeah. You move from Clark Kent to Superman, meaning I want to dress like 50 Cent because all my life I've been going to this suburban neighborhood. Now I want to dress like a thug so I can feel tough. So that's my superhero outfit. You see where I'm going? As a fashion guy.
As a fashion person, go ahead.
As a fashion guy.
Okay.
This transition from the initial reasons why we have clothes on, identity, whatever. So now I can dress like an Indian, and that's fashion. I'm trying to put a statement out there. Yes. I can dress like a Nigerian, even if I'm not, to just put a statement. Or I can look at your pictures on Instagram and steal your whole swag, and you'll be offended. As a fashion person, how many people have stolen your swag? That's where I'm going.
Okay, let me tell you something. I live. These days, I live by. I believe in abundance.
Stolen your identity, man.
I believe in abundance a lot. I believe, though comedians who have stolen my jokes before, I believe what's yours can never truly be replicated.
But have you felt someone stealing your swag? Watching you too much, focusing on what you're doing, and now next thing you see, is that my son?
Let me tell you something. I don't even call it stealing. I call it
borrow.
I call it like you borrow, because you don't want to give. It's kind of like when I listen to Kanye West's beats and I want to make beats similar to it. I'm not stealing. I'm inspired. So when I look at people, I'm like, you're learning something from me because I learned from somebody.
Let's talk to the narcissist. Let's talk to the narcissist.
Okay.
Do you feel like they're your sons? Like this, look at this Toto of mine. Look at this chap of mine. Look at my junior over there. And you see them.
Sometimes I feel like sometimes I feel like that. But quite frankly, I am happy. I'm happy that I'm inspiring them. I don't know why, Strap. I just like on my inbox every day. My inbox is full of people asking me, where were you? Where is this? And I don't know. Actually, bro, I got in a deal. It's only $30. I just feel like there's this abundance where I get and I also give. So the more I give out, the more I teach people, the more people will even come to my podcast and teach me. It's a university. You spoke about garments, and that was a very important topic. Yeah. A lot of people, as a fashion person, they don't know who they are before the clothes, before the Rolex. Some things have value once you have value. I might buy a t-shirt from Goodwill because you know me, I'm a thrifter. I spend very little. People think I don't buy those Versace. The other day I even visited my brother, the big brother Casey. He's like, get this Gucci belt. I said, I don't even wear belts, bro. I'm saying it's more like what are you trying to achieve when you step out the house? Because suits to me was power, because that's what I saw in my dad. When my dad wore a suit to go to work, to me I get it. There's colonialism that is still deep rooted, running through all of it. Yeah. But I also can't forget there was also Black Wall Street. There are also people who came from eras of, remember when they were fighting the colonialists, like Nelson Mandela? When they were going to boardrooms to fight people in Malawi, Botswana, I'm looking at Jomo Kenyatta in Kenya, and I'm looking like, how did he approach the capitalistic guard at the front who's controlling the train? When you go to your boss, you don't go in a t-shirt written Machiavelli forever.
Yeah, I mean,
when you go to
you're right.
When you go to a 6-star, when you go to a Michelin stars type of restaurant, they clearly say no hats, no shirts. Like, this is the standard where we reserve the right to receive.
Right. Or is that a way to say that we don't want those type of people here? Is that the elitism and drawing the line to say that the way to make them come here, let's prevent their dress code? Or if they want to be around here, they have to act accordingly.
Let me tell you this. So, we have a lot of powerful people in Africa.
Right.
Powerful people can help us change things. Powerful people in Wichita, powerful people in Seattle.
Right.
Within the Black community, within the African community.
Right.
They can empower us to see the light in the things that growing up we never saw. But they are doing a good job to make sure we don't see that.
Yeah.
That forces a lot of the community people, the people in the population, to try to emulate somebody else. It's easy to say, I've been to France, I've been to Italy, I've been to Jamaica, than say I was in Uganda, Kampala, eating amatoke, and then say anabosubo, because it makes you feel bad. Look at Africans when they go back to Africa. They always want to show their vacation spots. Nobody really wants to show the village, meeting their grandmother, chasing the chicken, because it's been told it's not cool for you.
Chasing the chicken.
I wear the shiki stuff a lot. I wear African stuff a lot. I've started doing wearing Africa quite a bit. Yeah. And my question, you said, well, what are you expressing? I'm beautiful in this prince. This is my prince. I don't know if you feel the same way the way this prince make me feel, I'm not sure you'll feel the same way.
You're absolutely right. Like when you wear those prints that are of your tribe, of your people, it's like you're talking to your ancestors. It's like they're on you. Like you're bringing them into boardrooms.
Yes. You're
bringing them into meetings. When you're closing deals, you feel like you're not there by yourself. You're being protected by divine power.
It starts with you and me, Strap. I always tell people, nobody makes you do anything. When I came first in 2008, all my friends in college were trying to be so American. I couldn't afford it because I didn't come from a family that had means. So these guys wanted to buy Timberlands the first time. They had like, you remember those basketball jerseys, the big ones?
The big XLs, yeah.
And I'm looking at this guy's like, yo, what's up? They're like, to be an American, you gotta fit in. And guess what I wanted to do?
Great, yeah.
I just wanted to know how they do their taxes, it's a different ways of approaching how to be accepted in America. And some people work too hard when you don't have to. There are people who are running away from their culture. We can't forget that there are people within our community who are Anglicizing themselves. You know, Anglicizing is.
That's a big word. Trying to make themselves like, Anglo means you're English.
Anglo, you're trying to erase your own history to feel like somebody else. You don't want people who don't want any element of their Africanism to be exposed in the public, because to them they think it lowers their value.
Got you.
Once you're dealing with that, when it comes to fashion, when it comes to food, you have people from even our community who are like, hey bro, let's go to Kule Nyama Choma na ugali there to Dubai. Nyama Choma, man. Let's go to some sushi, bro. Come on, be classy. Yeah. I'm like, so
somewhere where you can reserve early.
Yeah, so it's not classy because we eat fufu like this. Oh, Dubai, you and those African shorts all the time. Why can't you wear something like, people are looking at you. I'm like, but that's the point. They're looking at me because it's good. They're not looking at me because I'm crazy. It's a thought process.
So I think it's also like the whole thing of the first person that you would call ugly is yourself.
Boom.
Like it's that, that theory of the first person you would call ugly, before you call that girl ugly, the first person you call ugly is yourself. If you look at yourself in the mirror and you're not happy, now you get angry and now everybody's ugly. And now you can point mistakes in everyone because you see a mistake in you. People that don't see mistakes in them are happy and encouraging other people because they're portraying their inner jovial and happy side and inspirational side of others. But the person that is always saying, yo, that chick is ugly. Yo, this man, them shoes is whack. It's something. It has to be back here. It has to be something. Maybe they wake up and they don't even want to look in the mirror because maybe they're gaining weight. Maybe they're having issues.
But I gotta tell you, brother, it feels really good. I never call them my son. I only want them to know I'm like their big dog. But it feels really good when you see whatever you created, whether it's fashion, whether it's sound, like you see it morphing. It's kind of like celebrities who hear this new rappers like kind of like remix their songs and like it feels good. Like down the line, the new generation still relates and sees your vision.
Right.
So when I progress, when I elevate my brand to the next level, where I'm putting out my own shop, I can sell this pen, knowing that you like this pen the way I like it.
Right.
You're my brother. You're gonna be a guy who's gonna give me constant business because you're seeing what I'm selling. I don't believe in swag. I don't believe in drip. I believe in charisma. Right. I believe if I wore your hat the way you wore it today, I will not look like you. Our foreheads are not matching. Absolutely. You wore this one, and to me, I'm like, that's.
It won't fit my head. I have a big cranium.
But you're strapped. Think about it.
Yeah,
we are progressive.
Absolutely. So we're coming to the end of this episode. Great in-depth conversation. That's why I say this show is fun to do. Good, incisive minds come together. Of course, it's a clash. Like Jamaicans say, the clash.
I have one important thing to say before you close it. You give me 1 minute.
Okay. So I would like to say, first of all, say what you want to say, and then next answer this question. What's the lesson learned that you want to share with people? Okay. Go ahead and say what you were going to say.
That's going to answer your question, actually.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, I started comedy because I lost my daughter in a court, in a domestic custody case. It broke my heart, and that was the darkest place that I've ever been ever since I've been in this country. And to get myself out of that hole of seeing your daughter every day, then all of a sudden you haven't seen her in like 7 years. Comedy helped me. Comedy saved me. And through comedy and everything I do online, my biggest reason to this day is I hope my daughter thinks I'll make her proud.
Sorry about that, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls. We had a little bit of technical difficulty, but Dubai was ending by talking about the situation that happened between him, his daughter, and his daughter's mom. So the stage is yours.
Yes. Yeah. So she inspired me to be more vocal online, because if you lose people that you really care about, you need to be able to live, like in Africa, your dad left you inheritance, left you something that's running, something you can listen to, something you can connect with, friends you've lost. That is why my comedy began. My comedy began because I didn't want to strike out. I didn't want to be the guy who loses and does not bounce back. And everything I've learned, that one of the biggest lessons I've learned along the way is you're in a land of opportunity. If you're in America, you are born with a purpose. I think about death quite a bit. Not in a sad way like other people, not darkness. I think like when I depart, Strap, what will you tell your daughter about me? Dubai, I used to drink Stella. Then what? Then barbecue, then what? And the lessons I've learned is, as a person, I now have little white hair. I didn't have it a few years ago. That means I'm morphing. Yeah. So you also, as a person, you have to look at yourself as a butterfly. You can't stay as a moth and a caterpillar all your life. You gotta morph. You strike out. You injure your leg. Learn how to walk with a walker. You lose both legs. Learn how to roll to be the best guy in a wheelchair. You wipe ass. Be the best ass wiper. Be the best of this. Be the best of that. Right. I don't care what you do. Do it with intention. Do it when we began my journey through art, our ambitions were not so high. I want to look popular. I want to be on TV. I want to get some girls. Now I want to impact the community. I'm not doing it for myself. Anything I do, even when you told me, even the whole fashion thing, I'm not doing it for me. I'm not trying to stunt, man. There's a song by Burna Boy, one of my favorite on the album. It's called No Flexo. Me no flexo. Me grow with you. Me vibe with you. Because we are all spirits.
Absolutely.
And your spirit has a purpose in this universe. The lessons I've learned is you were born You are here where you are. Whatever you are, whether it's your family, whether you're single, there's a reason. You're exactly where you need to be, because that's where the cards were handed to you.
Absolutely.
I used to be the complainer of, oh, no. You're exactly where you want to be, because that's where the universe wanted you to serve.
Right.
Find the best way to serve within where you are. If you believe in God, you know God put you on that. They say God put you on that path for a reason.
Right.
If you believe in Allah, Allah wrote where you're trying to go. So work with the cards that were handed to you. Don't ask for extra cards. Extra cards do not win a poker game. Okay, you can add cards all you want. You can add cards all you want at the casino. It's not how many balls you have. It's actually if you can use one ball to score. So the lesson I want to leave any audience members with over here is we're timeless, fam. We are made, if you're Christian, we're made in God's image. That means it's God in us. That's why I always salute people every morning. Peace, God, salute. Because you're a God of something, God of peace, God of love, God of something. You're a God's peace. You're purposeful. You got to do everything with intention. I have a lot, through all my my problems, through all my adversities, one thing I learned, you stop asking, why me? You start asking why. What did I learn from this? Why did my car get hit? Why did I lose my house? Why did this project not work? Why did Dubai not become the best rapper in America? Because God wanted me to serve as a comedian. Why did Dubai not do the GQ stuff? He started doing African stuff. Because God wanted me to make African as a person, to bring their pride out through my platform. Why is Dubai always showing his black girl and is always posting? I'm like, because I've done it interracially. I've done this. But I have never been on a platform where we as Africans also give the same amount of love and that we put it out there for our sisters, because that can be my cousin. Right. That can be my niece. So I want my little black girls to grow up knowing, oh my God, that's the love I deserve. It's a possibility. It's not strange. I'm tired of men bringing me cilantro from Africa so I can cook for them. They can bring me flowers also. What nonsense is this? And that is my mission with my craft. Just to elevate my people, elevate the friends I have around me, use my energy for something positive, leave something out of this world. Life is very short, Strap. You gotta leave a legacy. It doesn't have to be a legacy of wealth. It can be a legacy of knowledge.
Absolutely. And just like that, ladies, gentlemen, we had the amazing Dubai Mamba, aka General Mutombo.
Vibes, man.
Share
like
the highest of highest vibes of frequencies. The highest of frequencies and knowledge. Ladies, gentlemen, it has been another episode of Lessons Learned, and we out.
We out. Thank you, bro.
Yeah. Thank you, man.